Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fintech Frenzy. Took a little bit of time off during the holidays. I was actually working for most of the time during that. So we'll have lots of content coming up. There's already people saying that we're late. Absolutely not true, Kevin. All right. You see that? It's still holding out to be not true. So silly, silly games. But we are back. And lots to cover. I mean, honestly, not that much. I'll just be real with you. It's a Monday. It's holidays. There's some new Robinhood stuff. They seem to not be slowing down. So I want to cover that. We also have the Robinhood Weekly after this. That's at 9:30 on Mondays every single week. But I wanted to come on, talk a little bit about Robinhood, SoFi, and Nubank because there's some interesting stuff there. Talk a little bit about 2025 and my investment strategy there. But sorry, Capital. I thought you said Tevis was selling. You said we need Tevis to sell. Yeah, he must be buying or something right now. I don't know why we're dropping down, but yeah. So let's talk a little bit about 2025. I'm a big resolutions guy, so I'm interested to hear sort of if you guys also do resolutions. I've got some pretty interesting ones for the year, and also had a pretty successful one last year. I had a weight gain challenge that I wanted to do. I did that. I'm one of those people that has I'm on the stronger side of the metabolism, so I always have to fight to do weight gain. But there's obviously other people that have to fight to lower their weight. In my personal opinion, I think both are really hard, but that's I get some flack for saying that. But yeah. Where's our Tech Frenzy episodes? So I think that today is going to be a little bit about that as I talk about what I want to do in 2025. It's definitely not going to just be, fintech related in 2025. A lot of my investments and a lot of my money right now, I really haven't been touching a lot of fintech in terms of DCAing in. It's been a lot of just tech companies, right? I'm very interested in NVIDIA right now, in Google, in Amazon. I think that all these names are going to have fantastic years. So that's what I'm buying. So that's what I'm also going to be covering. Now, I did put out a Google video recently, and just like all the other non-fintech stuff that I put out, it doesn't garner as much viewage. So I don't know if you guys actually do want to see that from me. But then I see all these comments saying, hey, please do make these videos. But I don't know if it's just the loud few that make up for you guys. And there's just maybe a lot of SoFi viewers that potentially only want to see SoFi content from me, but don't actually say anything. LatAm Fintech, yes. Yes. I don't know what the rest you're saying there, but Nubank and Mercado Libre. Now, Brad Freeman posted something on X about this, and I thought that this was very interesting. The Brazilian currency, which is the reais, has depreciated by 40% plus since January of 2028. Sorry, 2028. Since January of 2018, yet Nubank and Mercado Libre have done exceptional during these times. And Brad shows it off in such a beautiful way. So let me give a little appreciation to Brad here. Give him a follow on X if you are on X. He's an absolutely amazing account at Stock Market Nerd. But he shows off how well Mercado Libre and Nubank have done, both on a revenue and a net income perspective. Now, I hold both of these companies. Okay, I probably will add to both of them in 2025, as I think that they'll have harder years than what they're usually seeing. But even in these times where they've faced these sort of macro pushbacks, they've still done very well. Okay, one of the ways that Nubank especially, but also Mercado Libre, or I should say the opposite, Mercado Libre especially, but Nubank as well, is diversification into other geographies, right? So whenever you think of Mercado Libre, it's not just in Brazil. In fact, they actually have a very large Argentinian presence. That's their main hub. And then they branch off into Mexico as well. Whereas Nubank is heavily in Brazil, but branching off into Colombia and Mexico. Now, in my opinion, these are just starts. And if the macro gets worse in Brazil, I actually think that they'll be incentivized to push into new areas faster. One of the things that David Velez actually talked about is right now they're net income positive to quite a high margin right now. But he said that might not always be the same. we might find some pretty aggressive, like, forward projects to go after that might actually cost a lot to go after, that might actually hurt our future prospects, because it's not necessarily that if they branch out into, let's say, Chile, for example, or, go into, Middle East, North Africa regions, that's going to hurt their Brazilian business, but potentially those would have compressive margins or even negative margins on their business, which would hurt the total of every single product that they're going in. Actually, Melly just got hurt by this in their last earnings whenever they were growing a segment of their business. Nubank has a similar problem, but they were growing a particular business that has a lower coupon rate than the current credit cards that they were actually giving out. So whenever you branch into these different types of credit products, if you're just looking at what's the total yield from all the credit outstanding, it can look like it's actually going down, when really it's just there's one segment of the business that's growing faster than the others that has a lower coupon rate. So if there's a total addressable market expansion, it's usually always positive, but it's just important that, as investors, we break these metrics down into individual segments rather than just looking at them as totals, right? Because sometimes you can look at things and think that they're negatives when really they're actually really positive. Nubank has a similar thing, right? They have very high credit card interest rates. They have very high personal loan interest rates, but that's because there's a high risk of default and everything on their end. But then they also have secured loans as well, or payroll loans that pay a very, very small, like 1.8% APR. It's still money. They still want it, especially the fact that it's and by the way, that's a monthly APR. But the fact that there's such a low rate is still something that you have to adjust to versus their credit cards, but it's all relative. AMD setting up for a big comeback. Also, Amazon. I appreciated the Google video, Tanner. I like that you're talking about other companies besides just fintech. Value your opinion on them. Okay, cool. Cool. I like that. Okay, so I will do more tech videos. I'm just going to brute force my way through. Oh, I'm frozen right now? Can you guys hear me? Or am I frozen? Here, let me bring up YouTube. Can you guys hear me? 1 second until I start seeing some. I got audio, no video. Okay. I'm not quite sure. I'll just start closing some stuff. Let me see what I can do. All right. Well, if you guys can still hear me, I'll just go on. But no video, I guess. It shows it perfectly fine, but I do see a low signal sign, but I do not know how to fix that. Why is my internet so slow? What the heck's going on? Okay, I hope this doesn't happen during the Robinhood Weekly as well. Sorry, guys. All right, well, yeah, I will refresh actually. Give me one quick second. Am I back? Are we back, ladies and gentlemen? All right. Oh no, am I frozen on a bad frame? Oh, okay, no, it looks like I'm bad. I'm back. All right. Cool. So let's continue. Whoever said the refresh, give them awards. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, considering that I just closed all my notes trying to get this thing to work, I'm gonna take a second to bring this back up. But yeah, I will talk about more Amazon, more Google, definitely more Nvidia. I know that you guys have been asking me on that. So I will do that. But we're going to finish out the year strong with some fintech stuff because obviously, there is still some exciting stuff to go about. And one of them actually was Tevis's predictions on SoFi. I thought were interesting. I actually thought that they were more interesting whenever he mistyped his tweet. I thought that this was much better. Him saying that he wanted 15 million total members by Q4 of 2025. That was mind blowing to me. Turns out that he actually meant 14 million. And I actually believe him here on the typo because I saw his video and he said he wanted 14 million. So about 1 million per quarter. I put this on my long stretch ideas. So whenever I was going through my predictions for 2025, and I'll probably do another video of what I'm thinking about for Q4 for this thing. But if you guys want what I think the catalysts for 2025 are, just search that up, like SoFi Catalyst 2025 Future Investing. You'll see it come up. But yeah, 14 million was on my long stretch or very bullish ideas. I hope that it happens, but considering the fact that we haven't gotten 1 million new members, to get 4 straight continuous quarters without any weakness of 1 million per quarter is hard. Okay. One thing that I do agree with him on is that it could happen. Okay. There's a possibility that the loan platform business has such a high need for originations that they actually are required to go out and acquire more customers. One thing that people get wrong, though, or at least, I mean, from my perspective, it might not actually be wrong, but I don't think it's going to happen, so I'm going to call them wrong. One thing that I do not think is going to happen is a lowering in customer acquisition cost. The Chief Financial Officer, Chris Lapointe, has been pretty serious on this idea that they want to spend a lot because they want to acquire that specific correct user that they need to increase total lifetime value of the customer. Okay. So in order to bring on potentially 4 million new members, that is a ton of customer acquisition costs or sales and marketing. Okay. So for them to do that, very expensive. The loan platform business would need to do really well. How could it potentially do really well? Well, we would need some, change in the want or the demand for those loans. What would be the best way to drive that? Well, it would be a lowering of, federal interest rates. Well, if we just went from an outlook of 100 basis point cuts down to 50 basis point cuts, that changes a lot. Okay. It changes how much people actually think are going to get done. Will it still get done? I don't know, but it is a big difference. It's a cutting in half. So we want loans that potentially are in better and better favor as time goes on. I bet they get 4+. I mean, if Paul says it might be true. I'm late. Working hard or hardly working? I mean, a little bit of both in the last week. I definitely have been working over the last week, and I've got some interesting content to put out for you guys. So that should be fun, especially for current course members. You guys are getting a big update, all for free. But yeah. Also spending time with family and doing stuff that might not be as hardly working, especially tomorrow too. Like, I don't know if I'll be live tomorrow. We have, New Year's and stuff. So happy New Year's to you too, Nala. It's been a long time with you, brother. Happy to have met a lot of you guys. Some of you, like Nala, I've seen over camera and everything like this. Actually, because of some of these events lately, there's a lot of you, well, not a lot, but there's a select few of you that I've actually got to meet in person, which was also very fun. Ollie says, I think that 13.5 million new members is more of a reasonable get for SoFi if it's organic. I mean, yeah. it'll be interesting. Like I could see it going both ways. I could see a repeat of 700,000 each quarter, and I could see a big ramp up. Now, commentary from Anthony Noto was that they wanted to double this amount by 2025 to about 800,000 to a million new members per quarter. They said that. So a million is not out of the stretch of their goals or anything along these lines. We could end up seeing potentially roughly around a million per quarter. But does that happen by Q1? Who knows? Like one thing that Tevis even said, he said that he was wrong that SoFi would get a million new members per quarter. It's like we haven't even seen Q4 yet. So there could still be a sort of a seismic shift. And like, we don't know how well the loan platform did. We always place these bets of like, okay, SoFi says this, we say this, and then they come out with that. And it's like even better than what we've predicted. Even though people say that we're the bullish people. The commentators on YouTube is really what I'm placing. The SoFi Weekly crowd plus all the extended members of the SoFi Weekly, like Stephen Fiorillo and Chris Hager and everyone. Or data-driven investing. All depends on macro, says Paul. Yeah, which is hard going into this sort of season because SoFi is really dependent on that. Where I don't know if I'm just getting older or what it is, but I'm really, really interested in big tech right now, just to sort of subvert that and get into something that I still think is going to grow and potentially even grow faster than some of those ideas. Like I don't know. I am super, super bullish on AI right now. And like I've said this for time, but every single time I look into the total addressable market for AI, it gets bigger. Every time. If they count loan platform ads as new members, yes, 4 million will happen. Well, it will. Loan platform members are 100% members. That's not like they're not a subcategory of member. That's 100% our member. They come on to SoFi, they make an account on SoFi. They made a loan directly through SoFi, and then they stay on SoFi. It's not like we go and give them to Amex or we give them to BlackRock or something. No, they stay on the platform and they pay their loans through the SoFi's, freaking what it's called, loan servicing. It's completely theirs. Could you do a combo big tech frenzy? Well, yeah, what I think I'm going to do is just do them all. So more of a just standard, this is what happened in markets. I'm not going to be covering like oil or any of these things that other people might want to get into. Obviously, it is a big part of the market, but I just only have so much bandwidth, and I like to dive a little bit deeper into each name. Even expanding into more names like this is something that I even get uncomfortable about, but I do it on my own for like my own free time with my own portfolio. So I'm like, okay, well, I can get into big tech because this is a part that I'm also, doing on my own time. But it's hard for me to branch into like value investing or dividends or these sort of things that I really do not touch. If student loans go ballistic, we might see 1 million plus new members. Yeah, but how ballistic is student loans? Like, this is another thing. Like, I don't know how big that market will be right now. I mean, it'll be big. Like we could potentially see the student loan market from where we're at 4x, 5x. But how many new members does that bring on? You know? Tanner, have you looked into Qualcomm? Yeah, I follow Qualcomm, but I do not hold it. Yeah, did you get the Robinhood update? You can now sell specific tax lots. Yeah. I think they're rolling that out incrementally. So I think some people will have it and others still will not have it. And that goes for a couple other things. So they rolled out, this actually happened really recently. I'll show you guys this. Look what Chris K here says on X. Robinhood silently rolling out their buy now, pay later program. Select Robinhood Gold card users are getting it rolled out silently. So you can just pick, hey, I want 3-month payment, 6-month, 12-month. And this is very interesting. It says transactions over $100 are eligible, but I wonder what the cap is as well. Because I think SoFi had like a cap of like 500 and then boosted it up to 2,000 recently. That was very quiet. And so I wonder if they will have a cap there or if they're just going all out. Matt Flo, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. Be good to have another fresh year in 2025 of some more bullish news coming out of SoFi and potentially one of their most bullish years ever since being a public company, or potentially even just being a company. They had some pretty bullish years though in private, whenever they were a private company as well, though, doubling like crazy. So if SoFi can combine student loans plus the loan platform, this will attract new members and it would be a perfect storm for SoFi to go ballistic. That's what I mean. Yeah, so they haven't announced anything like that. It's been definitely something that I've been praying for, but essentially what Ali is saying here in the chat is the idea of, so right now, SoFi will go out and get personal loans and they will give people out their own money and then keep those customers on the balance sheet. Potentially, they'll end up selling those. So then the servicing rights goes to someone else. But what can also happen is SoFi goes to a company and says, hey, do you want to give us your money? And we'll use our understanding of underwriting our members. And then we will give you the client. We'll never actually put them on our balance sheet. But that's only for personal loans right now. One of the things that personal loans had that student loans didn't was that SoFi didn't service their own student loans until like a month or two ago, the first week in November. And then it came out that SoFi is now has like a student loan servicing segment. They didn't say a word about it. We had people that went on the website and were going through and reading the terms of service, and they said, hey, you know what? This is happening secretly. Why isn't anyone paying attention to this? And holy crap. So now we're servicing student loans, SoFi is, and Mohila is not anymore. So what does that mean for the, loan platform business? Was that the reason why we couldn't actually bring them onto this new platform? Two massive updates that have happened in the last 3 months that does not get a lot of traction. I said it before and I'll say it again. Even from a fintech perspective, I think that you'll like what you see if you were to look into Grab. Yeah, I only got so much bandwidth, guys. I might like Grab, but the problem with it is that I have to learn a completely other geography. You got to learn the macro there. You got to learn the politics there in a way. I might like it, but from a first glance, it's not I don't know. There's cleaner plays for me right now that I can just easily buy into and feel very happy doing so. What do you think the Hood announcement is tomorrow? That's more for the Robinhood Weekly, which is in an hour. No, in 30 minutes, 35 minutes. But the truth is, if you want my actual answer, I don't know. No one knows. I have an idea, though. I mean, I don't think it'll be as exciting as people think. Um, I think it'll just be literally like color on what December metrics look like. They can't give them all because it would just be giving away their, um, you know, quarterly numbers. But hopefully, they give us some level of detail into December. That would be phenomenal. Is my dog wanting out? Um, all right, I'm gonna let my dog out. 1 second. All right. Student loan drama will go away, just like the housing crisis and yeah, no, the student loan stuff is gone. Well, I mean, I still think that there's a level of people that because they were really close to getting, or they felt very close to not having to pay any of it, that they are going on a little bit of a strike to potentially not pay it. But the problem is like you got to pay it. Like, this is a loan that you took out. Uh, you know, there could definitely be some predatory student loans where you're taking some young people and giving them so much debt that they are not allowed to get rid of unless they pay it down, and the interest rates might be higher than what potentially you can afford just on interest payments. So it can be quite bad. But I would say that those are niche stories. I'd say the high majority of them are people that can't afford to pay them off. And it probably would even be better for them to get a private student loan because it's cheaper than servicing it a different way. Or potentially you could shorten the time that you can pay those loans and just try to be very focused on paying down those loans. So then you can pay off more of the principal than just interest. Um, so Meflo says SoFi will own student loans going forward. Uh, I think, are you meaning that they're going to dominate the market, or are you just talking about the servicing? Tanner, how much lower for Nubank before you split it 50-50 with SoFi? Let me check my portfolio. I might be very close to a 50-50. I'm not. I'm heavier in SoFi right now just because the pullback in new. Um, but Nubank has run so much that I am like quite. Oh, sorry. I went to the wrong thing. I just started going to like my Nubank spreadsheet. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean it's a good little difference. So I probably have, and it's pretty close to almost a doubling of a position. I probably have 80% more SoFi than I do Nubank. It was not the same way whenever Nubank was at 15. It was actually a bigger position for a bit. Whenever, these stocks have kind of went like this. Like, bought them here, and then Nubank went skyrocketed, and then SoFi started to come up and Nubank started to go down. But I have a lot, like a much, much higher book value in SoFi than Nubank, but Nubank had ran so much quicker than SoFi. Elijah, you want to know what's funny? I work out at like midnight. Isn't that nuts? I know it's not normal, but I essentially get all my work done, and then I work out, and then have a sauna, and then have a shower, and immediately go to bed. So I probably go to bed around 2ish, but like gym at midnight. So I haven't gym today. but it is part of my New Year's resolution. I'm very, very serious about my New Year's resolutions. I always have been. Last year was I didn't want to drink anything, so I've been sober. Probably be sober going forward. Every time I say that, everyone thinks it's based on like an addiction or something like this. I watched a Dr. Andrew Huberman thing where he talked about how bad alcohol is versus what people potentially perceive it as being. And I don't judge anyone for drinking or anything along these lines. I mean, my girlfriend drinks, like you know, uh, I'm having a New Year's party tomorrow. Like, go ahead, drink. But I think I'll probably just stay sober. I feel great. But I always set these resolutions every year to try to just test myself, whether it's I've done running goals or exercise goals or financial goals. That's what's coming up. This year will be a financial goal, along with a weight gain goal and little relationship thing as well. But yeah. So try to set yourself up with some good New Year's resolutions and stick to them. I think that they're very important. And I'm always looking for something to sort of define my year. It can be very healthy, very healthy. I think investing is like one aspect of this whole journey. I'm big into investing. Obviously, I named the whole channel Future Investing, but honestly, like delayed gratification is just sort of a lifestyle thing. Like I think that that's important in a lot of aspects of life. So I like setting a year to find out what I really like, and then I keep the stuff that I really enjoyed. Health is wealth. Yeah. Health, wealth, and relationships. Those are the three things that I try to focus on. It took me a long time to realize it, but alcohol is poison. Yeah. I did no drinking last year and I did no sweets. So it doesn't mean no sugar, but it just means like no cakes or cookies or shit like that. I always like legitimately out of anything I've ever tried in my life, sugar has been by far the most addictive substance. Um, and so yeah, I just cut that out and that I'll probably go back to this like come January, I'll probably go back to having some sweets. But if I feel it getting out of control, I'll just next year I'll just completely cut it out again. See, this is why I love this community is like it's literally it's not just about investing. You know, there's all these things where people come together with all these different strengths and say, "Oh, you know what? This is what I've learned." Uh, yeah, I don't know. I love it, and I find this a lot in the investing community because it's not just all about money. It's more of a general aspect of just like, hey, the good things come with a lot of dedication, a lot of time, a lot of patience, hard work, and so investing just falls right into that niche of like, you know, just delay it a little bit longer and things will be well. And the journey actually becomes the fun part. I'd probably be more well off mentally if I just, you know, invest in the SPY or something like this, but it's just become more of a fun aspect as well. I really do enjoy it, but also people who gym after a while also really enjoy that. I remember that Roy gave you hymns. I did buy hymns. Roy told me exactly when to buy it, and I did buy it. If you're a course member and it's not in the thing, it's just because I'm not putting the $100 thing into my like equity portfolio. But I do hold it right now. I could probably show you. I have 4 shares, by the way. I just have to buy $100. Um, I can't really show you right now, but I'm already down. I'm down 6.83%. This absolute little liar telling me when to buy. He had no clue. I should have just waited. I said, should I buy now or should I wait till January? And this guy said, buy now. I'm down Freaking 6.83%. I'm down $7. All like people just give me shit on these New Year's things. You don't think I wanted $7? It's only going to hurt his performance. I don't care. I'll spend the $100 so then Jobby becomes the number one play this year. Okay, that's why we do it. We did it for Jobby. He's never going to buy it, by the way. Tevis is not. I don't know if you guys follow the SoFi weeklies. We do a little gift giving exchange where we tell each other what stock to buy. We only put $100 into it just to track the performance. But yeah, my gift to Tevis was Jobby, but I can't go into his brokerage and press buy for him. So he's not going to buy it. And then after he didn't buy it, it went up like 15, 16% or something like this. It was like, should have warned it. I don't know what it's doing today. I mean, I'm sure it's dumped. Let's see here. I mean, it's down a simple 6%, but you know, what's that in the grand scheme? Nothing. Well, he hasn't bought yet, I don't think. So now's a good time, Tevis. I mean, how come you didn't own it before, prior to him giving it to you? So that's pretty simple. So it's just an area that I don't know. I think that pharma is a really big industry, let alone the distributors of all these things. But so you have to figure out like, okay, what are the popular names in the distribution of these drugs? And then what are all the actual changes in these drugs? Like, I don't know. I'm sure it's a great industry to get into. It's not one that I've been into, and I don't want to learn an entire new segment to get into one position. There are names that will make a lot of money. Maybe Hims is the best performing stock in the world over the next couple of years, but like generally, I'll do well holding AI stocks, holding data center companies, holding cloud compute. I'll be very happy. I don't really have a lot of robotics names. I got to be honest. I think a lot of those are on private equity, and Amit's got me destroyed there. But I will hold robotics adjacent companies, whether that's Tesla, Nvidia, Amazon. I'll be there for sure. Still buying more Google? Yes. Yes. You didn't buy. You didn't miss anything. You're just talking about his girlfriend's drinking. Yeah, she could put them back. She's gonna love watching this episode. Oh man, Freddie, good to see you, brother. Do I use the word brother too much? I like it. It seems I like the word. But Freddie, you might have just caught me on the tail end of this stream. It's so good to be back, guys. Honestly, let's never do this again. Okay, let's never break up like this. Let's do live streams even when there's not a lot of news, and there is not a lot of news. I could go over. Vlad did a recap for 2024 in Robinhood, but I might just take that to the Robinhood Weekly, which is on this channel at 9:30 every Monday. Thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. But bye for now.